Yeah. Okay. Hi everyone, welcome and thank you all for joining today's webinar on literary devices to improve prose, pace and flow. My name is Ravali and I'm a part of team here at Curito. I am joined here by today's speaker, Dr. Poonam Singh, one of the chat tutor at Curito, and Mr. Pavan from Student Counselor Department. This webinar is an outreach program by Turito for students to help in developing their learning skills and for parents who are willing to give their children best education. Before we start off, let me give quick overview of organization. And all you are aware, Turita is an e-learning platform and our vision is to provide quality education to every student by well-experienced faculty. Currently, Turita is available in USA, Canada, Middle East, India, Singapore, and Australia regions. And programs offered by Turito are Nopline OC and one-on-one tutoring services for math, science, and English subjects in Australia region. And here, Turito exclusives are Turito offers interactive learning methods as per student requirements, regular assessments to track the child progress, and also doubt clarification sessions for making concepts stronger. Turito also provides parent app access to make you a part of child's learning journey. Moreover, we have top 2% certified educators whom we partnered with to envision our mission. Before getting into the specific, let me offer a quick intro about our speaker at today's event. Dr. Poonam Singh is a holder of PhD in Literature and Languages, and she is passionate educator with a vast experience of 8 years in education industry. She has facilitated students for competitive exams and extemporized spoken English. Thank you, ma'am. Over to you. Uh, and all the participants, please feel free to drop your questions at Q&A section because we have Q&A session after discussing about the topic. We will answer all the questions during Q&A session. Thank you, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, team, inviting me for again spreading my knowledge whatsoever I have related to the concepts. And when it comes to talking about literary devices, it is something that is always closer to my heart because children, and we have always seen that we always write something and approach better or advanced writing. But when it comes to see whatever we have written and to analyze whether its impact is the same that we desired, we always end up losing hope because we never find what exactly is conveying our content or our expression, whether it is well written, whether crafted or not. So a literary device or a device that is used as a tool is used as an important part of the writing, which actually helps us, and not even us, even the writers, to give a larger themes, ideas, and meanings in a story of or a piece of writing. There are many styles of literary devices, each serving a different purpose. Some operate at this sentence level, while others serve the piece of writing as a whole. Now, writers, you might have seen that often use multiple literary devices in tandem. So in this today's session, we'll be covering about the devices, we'll be covering about different types, where are we supposed to use it, what is the correct usage, and what are all different ways we can use them into our writing. So what do I mean by, first of all, literary devices? As we are all aware, literary devices are the specific techniques that allow a writer to convey a deeper meaning that goes beyond what's on the page. Literary devices works alongside plot and characters to elevate a story and prompt reflection on life, society, and what it means to be human. So when we talk about literary devices, poetic device is one of the main factor that we use generally in not only poems and our writing skills. This is also we have generalized in a different way. Like literary devices somewhat are called poetic devices. We can also call it as figurative language. Now, figurative language can be used both in proses and in, I could say, poetry. But there are specific poetic devices that we only use in poetry. So poetic devices are a form of literary devices used in poetry. Poems are created out of specific devices composite of structure, then grammar, rhythmic, metrical, verbal, and visual elements. And when we talk about metrical verbal, at times we have seen the the repetition of the words. words, and we have seen the words which gives a rhythm to us, and that is quite easy for us to also remember. So these literary devices gives us a different approach of the similar context or the expression, but in an advanced and in a better way. So they also are essential tools that a poet uses to create rhythm and enhancing the poem's meaning and intensify the meaning and the mood. There are, if I could say, there are more than 20 or 40, I could say, poetic devices and figurative language we generally use, but we have to understand the correct usage. So writer use wide variety of literary devices across different genres. Each literary device serves a specific purpose. Understanding how to correctly wield these devices can significantly improve our writing as well. So when I go to a few of the examples, that is, at times we use similes, metaphors, hyperbole, idioms, personification. These are something that we have multiple times have been used, that too in our general life, day-to-day life. But when it comes to understand their usage, this is something that we need to recollect. So I'll just give you one example of allegory. Allegory is a literary device used to express large, complex ideas in an appropriate and approachable manner. Allegory allows writer to create some distance between themselves and the issues they are discussing, especially when those issues are very strong critiques of political and social realities. So this is how allegory can be given. Ravili ma'am, can we go to the next slide? When it comes to idioms, we might have seen at times saying that who is going to bell the cat, or this is something that who is going to start, who is going to break the ice, and at times he spilled the beans. So instead of saying in a literal meaning means in the simple sentences, the general grammatical sentences, we use them in a literary way. Literary devices always gives a kind of a beauty, a kind of advanced texture to our writing. Hyperbole, like we at times have seen any such good friend of us who kept on elaborating things too much, like I'm coming in a second. But a second is something, the moment you finish the sentence, the second gets over. So do you think a second can be done? Can a person be back in a second? So that is something we can say hyperbole. Like we exaggerate something so well that it gives its meaning in a different way, but it expresses it is in a deeper technical term, right? Then comes metaphor, simile and metaphor. This is where children absolutely find difficulty and confusion understanding, because both compare two unlike things, unlike objects, but they have only minor differences between them. As when we talk about similes always been used with the usage of the word as or like. For example, as if I could say, I was as blank as white sheet of paper. So it means I did not know anything, any idea. So I'm meant to say that, like, literary devices help us to also convey certain meanings, which we cannot directly say. So they have hidden meanings too. And also comparison, at times we have seen that it was too cold as cold as ice. And when we talk about metaphors, they are absolutely conveying the same meaning, but without them. For example, my father is a hero, or my father is a Superman. So I'm comparing my father with the Superman by using a metaphor, but not using as or like. So metaphor and simile is also very important to understand, because these are the one that we most of the time use in our even general speaking, in our day-to-day conversation. So how these devices are useful in advanced writing? As we can say, poetry can follow a strict structure, or none of us, to be very precise, know how to convey our expressions. So by using these devices, we can definitely very easily be able to convey our messages. That too in not proper sentences, because as we know, stanzas and the lines written in the poem, they're never written in the sentence. They always convey in terms of phrases. At times they were used as inversions, they were used in short expressions, at times repeated words. So when we have to do that, this is the only and the best option to convey our our emotions, our feelings, our ideas, our thoughts. Poetic devices are the tool that a poet can create rhythm to. All the songs that we generally listen to these days or back then and whensoever, they all follow poetic devices. Without that, we can say we can never be able to understand and to grasp the meaning, the deeper meaning of that, I could say, the song so well, the way it has been conveyed by the writer or sung by the singer. And these devices help piece the poem together, make much like a hammer and nails join planks of wood together. Again, I have here used a poetic device. I've used here a comparison of a hammer and a nail with the poem, with the devices. So this is how we can be easily able to use them in our advanced writing. Now, where are we using them? For example, if I'm writing a creative work, if it is a narrative writing is always been blissful with the usage of this. Otherwise, it looks monotonous. We can never be able to understand or convey the meaning that we wanted, and that is why at times we might have got a grade from the teacher saying that this is something very common. You should try something else. You should be creative. You should think out of the box. Now, what do I mean by out of the box? At times, for example, I'm not a very creative person, but yes, I want my work to be creative. By using these poetic devices, definitely I'm going to give my writing a new revamp. And by the usage of these, not the literal sentences, but the literary devices, definitely the meaning that I want to convey at times, not directly, would be also conveyed indirectly with them by the usage of proverbs, idioms, and furthermore. So we can move to the next slide. Now, correct usage in different types of creative writing. Unless and until we understand where are we using these and what is the purpose of each and every poetic device, we can never be able to use them correctly in our writing. For example, if I need to convey an object, if my character is looking at the object and trying it to be as its companion or acquaintance, in that manner I will definitely use personification. We have seen at times that we are writing a story where my character is living in present, but he's not able to connect with the present scenario, but it's kept on going in his past. So here I have used a juxtaposition. So all these poetic devices, these literary devices will always help us to connect and to convey the deeper meaning of the expressions, the descriptions that we want to convey in our writing. Moving on to the second point. Now a few illustrations the way I have already explained a bit a few minutes ago. Imagery, then I talked about simile and metaphor and hyperbole. So imagery is a poetic device or a figurative language. When we read a certain line, at times also, when a teacher is reading to us something, or at times when we hear something from someone, we start imagining that. It's not that we are so good in imagination. It's because the words, the sentences, those have been used, or the connotation which has been used in that particular expression or the description is provoking our senses. So there are 5 senses that we generally are aware of: sight, smell, taste, hear, touch, and furthermore. So when anything related to that, like I saw a dark cloud, roaring like a lion in the sky. So now when I say that, I start imagining a dark cloud in the sky because I can see that. This is something that gives me the vision. And when I talk about imagery usage of figurative language to create visual representation of actions, objects, and ideas. What did I hear? Water dripped so silently that I was able to hear it from the drawing room. So I am trying to tell my audience that how I heard that voice. So this is also going to be conveyed to the reader and the person will definitely get connected to what I'm trying to convey then. The room was drab and dark. I know drab and dark means, so I could be easily able to resonate with the idea. Simile and metaphor, comparison of two distinct objects to draw similarity between them. As I just shared, they are just differ from a minute or a thin line, that is as or like. So in similes, we use as or like in comparison, but in case of metaphor, we don't. It is the direct comparison without, or you could say, without as or like. So, and the next one is hyperbole. It is a deliberate exaggeration of actions and ideas for the sake of emphasis. There always been one friend of ours who kept on, exaggerating things so much that I drove my bicycle, for example, in 200 kilometers per hour. Now, this is something a person is exaggerating, and that is what we can call as hyperbole. So it undoubtedly, unconsciously at times, without even understanding them as in a real expression, we use them in our subconscious mind in our day-to-day conversation. But then just now, this is the point we have to understand. If we are using them already so well, and if we get to know about them in present, how well are we going to craft our narrative? So this is what literary devices are going to help us with. For example, as hyperbole, also given an example, your bag weighs a ton. I owe you a life. Something, this is which gives us a huge panoramic picture, which is at times, I could say, impossible to attain. So that is what hyperbole was. So these were few illustrations on some of the poetic devices. So when we'll be coming up to taking classes from Tereto, our teachers are going to let every student understand how are we going to connect them into our writing as well, how are we going to make them advanced. It definitely, we will give you the inspiration and recommendations on the best book that gives you the idea for literary work. Then guidance to study and practice writing as per the interest, as per the child interest. So the main focus has always been given on the child's preference, no matter what the curriculum is. Absolutely, the teachers are here trained for the curriculum and in the teaching methodologies as well. But we also always focus on the child's requirement and the interest, and also their understanding and the pace. So these are hyper-personalized classes in Tereto that we provide to children, where we always try to understand the gap areas the child was facing earlier, where are the problems they were facing, what was the ways to address those areas, and how can we improve them, how many lectures do we require, are we supposed to take up the backlog or the back grammar concepts or any other concept to make the child first of all understand. For example, if I talk about asking a child to write a narrative, if my student doesn't know how to write a description, he can never be able to write a narrative well. So this is something step by step we have to move on when we come up to advanced writing. And when we also, as we are talking about advanced writing, so I will also want to add on, these are also been connected with transitional words. So which is something which is a topic with not given in any particular grammar book, that you won't be able to find it. And here availability of tutors with expertise are there, whichsoever whomsoever you're comfortable taking a demo, and if you're comfortable with that, that tutor is going to be with you to take the further session. So all in all, it's absolute child-centric class where we are just and only focusing on student. Why we should learn English with Tereto? That's the main question. We have multiple, and I could say thousands of platforms available on social media. They are giving lectures. They have a handful of information provided on one way. Here we prefer to have two-way communication. We believe in interaction. Child can never understand and learn unless and until he raises the questions, no matter how well or how good the child is in grasping concepts. But the most important part, or the most important thing, is conversation. If I won't share what I have learned, I never can be able to do a good a person who is writing in a good understanding of the same way. So instead of just giving something in a lecture based method, we always move on to interactive and of course a conversational basis where we provide mindful learning instead of handful. We always try to clear the doubts from the ground level, not from the level where the child is already. Because if the child is facing any issues in that particular age, definitely some of the other concepts were left behind, untouched, unexplained. So this is our always the primemost approach that we always look into what the areas the child already had lagged behind with, and we cover that, and then we move on to the base, the further base of the same year. And here children will get the opportunity to learn live, interactive, and that too one-on-one, which is not given on platforms. You can get the recordings or on YouTube's, on other platforms, but you can never able to give your question, cast your question to the tutor then and there. This is a platform where you have that chance, that opportunity. So that is why I think I suggest always to go ahead with Tureto. And we make sure, we make children also exam prepared. So we prepare children for comprehensive materials that target NAPLAN and OC, collaborative teaching of concepts, reading, writing, grammar, and speaking. We always make sure that these concepts should not be taught individually, but independently. So a child can be able to understand why I'm reading and how it is going to affect my speaking, grammar, and writing. If I'm writing something, how it has been affected by my reading, by my grammar, and my speaking, vice versa. So all these four skills been taken interdisciplinary together, and we always major focus on improving all those areas. Thank you so much. It was all about today's session.
Yeah, ma'am, one of the participants want to talk with you. I mean, he had some questions to ask.
Okay.
Kim, Aurora, could you please? Could you please unmute yourself?
Hi, Kim. Can I be able to hear you?
Hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good, Poonam. How are you?
Great. Yeah,
Okay.
please go ahead.
Yeah. Time today, and I was wondering, what is the structure you guys follow for? You have explained a little bit though, but what structure do you guys follow for teaching NAPLAN or the OC system?
Okay. I think Pavan sir, would you be able to answer this question, or do you want me to do that?
Yeah, I'll answer the question, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you, Pavanji. How are you?
Very fine, ma'am. Very fine. So, ma'am, basically, the whole NAPLAN structure is based upon, we are following the Australian curriculum, right? We have separately created the segmentation of the subjects that are there. So we have like topic wise, and I can, if it is possible, if I can share the screen. If it
Yeah,
is,
that would be great if you can please show me how, like,
just
as
give
an
me 1 minute.
example of.
Yeah. Give me 1 minute, ma'am. Just give me 1 minute. Hold on.
Waiting.
By the time sir is coming back, let me tell you a little bit about that. Okay, ma'am. What we do, there is a certain procedure, certain duration that we have taken up. For example, if I talk about literature, or sorry, the language convention, so we always focus on that on the basis of how it is to be taken. And because we know the level of the child according to year 3, year 5, year 7, and year 9.
Yeah.
So keeping that in mind, we have already developed a course where it be taken up all language conventions, the grammar concepts, where the child is going to thorough with, the verb, adjectives, like all parts of speech. Moving on to the sentences, the variation of the sentences. So that when there are 3 different sets of paper would be there, because there is 3 sets of papers children have in writing. That is to, first one is to look at the prompt. So this is something, a creative work we were talking about. So if child knows how to do that creative writing, I think this is one we make them train for. Right now, the topic which I've discussed, that is what, I think sir has shared here for NAPLAN 5.
Yeah, this is what I was wondering.
Yeah, so this is what we all look at that, yes.
So it's not
And
like
it's
the
just one
exactly,
more
you know, the NAPLAN curriculum that we have. It is not exactly the NAPLAN curriculum have, because it's just a random question that came across, right? I was not prepared with the curriculum, but it's, you can have a look, and it can give you not a very brief introduction about that, what are the things that are there, but the general
But yeah,
topics
it
that
is
are we
catering
are
the same.
covering. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the general topics that we are covering, and the ultimate focus can differentiate from kid to kid, right? So
Yeah.
maybe if there is one child who wants to have focus more upon, you know, reading, not
Yeah.
writing, right? Maybe there is someone who wants to have more focus upon writing. So ultimately the whole course is customizable as well as personalized, but this is the general way that we are following at Theory2 itself, right?
For
So it's
example,
actually a mixture.
yeah. So
It's
sorry.
actually a mixture of topics. It's actually a mixture of topics. Like, I do not have separately what is being taught in the English, what is being taught in the OC examination. I do not have that separation, but you'll get the idea basically. So the literacy section is all about the English that we are covering. The numeracy is the mathematics, so the math section. So this is the NAPLAN 5 that we have. I hope my screen is clear, like visible to you, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So this is the, you know, the structure, or you can say in general way we move with the course itself. And
And we
these are the
successfully
topics.
this year completed our NAPLAN for so many good students, I think, and they have done well. Past year as well, we had NAPLAN courses,
We
and
just recently had NAPLAN in May. So
yes,
13th of May we had NAPLAN, and soon we are gonna get
yes,
the results by,
yes,
I think, probably in September or October. Probably
yeah.
we'll get
So
the results for NAPLAN. Yeah, because my child is appearing for NAPLAN next year though. Yeah, he has done his year 3 NAPLAN already.
it'll be for year 5 then.
Yeah, he would be year 5 next year. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I am more after the select entry exams, where I'm more after numerical reasoning, verbal reasoning.
Yes. So
And
we always focus on giving logic to the children, so that when there would be
one-
any question arrives in the paper, they should know the reason behind why it is to be chosen this answer apart from that. So we always focus on that too.
yeah, and how about spellings? Because in this country, there are lots of kids who
Or yes, we're dealing with wrong
are,
spellings. Yes.
yeah,
So spelling test, regular, when we take up the reading comprehensions as well, every now and then we take on reading, the vocabulary. It's not just on the basis it is written. Good phonetics is also been taken, like sounds, and we always talk about phonemes. So children will be explained on that too, so that they can understand what is the correct spelling for the word. So if it
yeah.
is not from the exercise that we've covered, child would be able to see, read that, and to understand whether it has been pronounced correctly or not. And then
The phonics program, they are phonics, digraphs, this letter
yes,
sounds, everything that is being taught to them in prep, and then they go
yes,
up every year.
and they forgot all of those things back then.
Even no, they do continue doing that. I am a teacher here as well, so I'm teaching here in an Australian school. So even then, the kids, they have bad spellings.
Yes, because they more
Do you
emphasis
have
on not on writing but on speaking.
Yeah, so I was wondering if you guys have a particular way of teaching spellings. Do you go by spelling rules, or what? How do you teach
Yes,
spellings?
yes. everything. It's all dependent. Like, for example, Kim, ma'am, if, for example, child is not very good at taking roles, we have to make the child understand the logic behind why it is that so, right? So we are taking every particular ideology related to the child's understanding. It's not prioritized like this is the only rule which we are going to follow, and we are just focusing on that. It's all dependent how the child is taking it. And the practice has been given on the basis of that. So first of all, the major projection has always been given in the listening skills.
Can you please give me an example of what kind of spelling rules do you guys teach, for example? Like
Where are we using vowels and what sounds do they create when we use in the words? At times children say something and they pronounce something else. There is a child with me of grade 4. She is so amazing in writing and speaking, but when it comes to writing spellings, she always finds difficulty. She knows how is she writing. Like, for example, farmer, because there we say farmer, though there is a sound, say R, in the middle, which children forget to speak or to hear. So first of all, the bifurcation has to be understood to the child. We make sure that that is to be understood, and then the child will write. It should not be just this one word to be written together.
when there are silent words, for
Yes.
example, when there are silent letters in the words.
Silent letters, yes.
So
where
that
we have to go for stressed and unstressed syllables. That is also something children need to understand, which they don't put focus on.
Yeah. So does your program allow for that much time? Because it's quite a vast part. So if you're
that's
doing
what we said. Yes, it is all customized.
You're doing vocabulary, you're doing language convention. So I'm wondering, how does everything fit in place?
I think Pavan sir is also going to answer the same way, I guess. Pavan sir?
Yeah. Ultimately, ma'am, what happens that it's a child-centric program. First, when you take the demo class with us, we understand that what is the current level of the child, or what is the understanding of the child, right? And within that class itself, teacher is also able to judge like what are the loopholes, or where the child is actually lacking, where are the gaps, where the teacher needs to work upon, right? And the curriculum is created in that specific way itself, where we are filling the gaps, where we are improving the areas where the child is actually lacking. We are also appreciating, areas where he is exceptionally doing well. But the the important focus is on the areas where he is not doing well, where he is, maybe confused, maybe not at par with the standard of other students also. So the metric can be anything, but the whole point that we try to bring him at a certain level where he's performing well enough in the mock tests that are being provided, in the assignments, in the homework. And these are all the things cumulatively we are getting the output, or you can say the result, and after that we are assessing again and again. So there is a feedback loop that is happening. You take an examination, there's a whole portal that is actually there. There are a lot of examinations, mock tests that are available. You take examination, teacher gets to know, that this is the area where the child is lacking, right? Again, teacher improvise or maybe introduce certain topics or certain activities which will help the child to improve in those areas, right? Again, he's going through certain examinations, homeworks and assignments, and he's committing few mistakes, right? And again, there is a feedback loop that is happening. So the whole way is to assess and then improve, because without assessment we cannot improve, right? So that is the whole way we have created the whole curriculum, and that is how we are creating that improvement or the level of understanding within the child itself.
Sorry, Pavan. Sorry for interrupting in between. Sorry, ma'am. Miss Aurora, we will schedule a demo with you because we are running out of time and we got some more questions from other participants. So, madam, have to answer this.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Pavan. And sorry, ma'am. And
No
we'll
issues,
continue.
no issues. I'll get in touch with you, ma'am. I am the person who's going to be the one point of contact for you, and we can have a conversation about
no
it.
problem.
Okay. Take care, ma'am. Take care.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's take this, ma'am, Q&A session, and we got some questions. And the first question is, what are some most common used literary devices?
Commonly used, as I just shared, simile, metaphor, personification, onomatopoeia, hyperbole, idioms, proverbs. Then comes your underrating at times. So these are very common that we generally use, but we never understand whether we are using them correctly and how to use them or how to implement them, those in our writing. So these are the very common one that we have.
What impact do the literary devices make on the reader?
Could you repeat the question again? What impact do the
What impact? Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, it is absolutely the same way when you see the cake and having cherries on that. So it's not the similar thing that you're portraying in your writing. It is going to advance your expressions, your ideas, your thoughts. It is not writing a sentences just in simple literal meaning. It is something that has a depth in expressions. So literary devices give, whenever we see a movie, whenever we see the dialogues, those dialogues are embedded with them, whole lot of, and that is why they show such an impact that they touch where the point which it is to be. And definitely they are too important to understand and to grab and to imply them in our writing. So yes, they make too much questions.
And next question, how to start implementing these literary devices in my essays?
Yes, the first important thing is to understand the difference between literary devices and literal meaning. Once you do that, next part is to understand where are we using, like what are the usage of these. And if, for example, you're writing a creative writing or any essay, first and most important thing, why I'm writing that essay, what is the purpose. So once you know that and you understood the idea of your literary devices that you to use them in the sentence, in your expression, so definitely you can select correct for yourself, and that is how you can use them. The most important part is to understand, first of all. Without that, we won't be able to.
Last one question, ma'am. How do we identify literary device?
How do we identify the literary devices? They can never give you the direct meaning. At times, the tongue twisters, all tongue twisters that we have seen are just all alliterations. The repetition of consonant sounds, at times we have seen the repetition of vowel sounds, so alliteration, assonance. That gives absolute, I could say, impression or idea on what we try to convey. So this is how you can be easily able to understand where we have used what. Like trees cannot fly, wind cannot talk, kites cannot run. So of course they have a different approach. By understanding their approaches in the expressions, we definitely can be able to understand them and to identify that too.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much for explaining the topic in detail and answering all the questions. And Miss Kim Arora, one of the executive, will get in touch with you, ma'am. And thank you, Pawan, for explaining everything in detail. And we'll be ending the session now.
Thank you
And
so
much. We'll be having a webinar session in the coming week as well. We hope to see you all again. Until then, if you have any queries, please write to us at care@turito.com. For more info, please visit our website www.turito.com. Turito makes every student to learn mindful but not handful. For better learning and better results, join Turito. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a wonderful day, everyone.